welcome to the Sigma Show, episode 81. I'm your host, Sigma. Before I let you know who's joining me today, real quick, we'll go over what our topics are going to be. First up, EA has announced a new Need for Speed Unbound, which I think looks pretty neat. I'll ask my guests what they think about that, because some folks don't give a shit about Need for Speed, but that's neither here nor there. Second up, a kind of a landmark court ruling has just been filed against 2K Games. Essentially, a tattoo artist sued and won, saying that they did not have the right to reproduce her artwork on Randy Orton's body in the game. So we'll kind of dive into the ramifications of such a ruling and kind of just the nature of art and reproduction in video games in general. And finally, we got our first look at the first teaser for the Super Mario Bros. Movie. We got to hear what Chris Pratt sounds like. We got to hear what Jack Black sounds like. A couple of other people as well. So really interested in diving into kind of what everyone's impressions are of this first look. But here to talk with me about such things, Ash Redux.
You already know. Let's keep it going.
Blue Bones.
It's your boy. What's going on, everybody?
And Jamate.
Hello, it me. Your boy.
It's
Yes.
a me, Jamate.
That was his audition to be the new Mario.
Yeah.
And I still won out over Chris Pratt. So
Yeah, I think it's very close. It's very close.
You could be the UK version.
Yeah. Oh, do you know what?
You heard all the different.
I reckon I could pull it off. What would it be like? What does he say? Like, wow. Oh, Mushroom Kingdom. Yippee.
Okay, so we'll warm things up by jumping into what we've been playing, watching, living, etc. Anybody want to jump in first? What do you got?
All right, I'll do that.
Yeah, go right ahead. Feel free.
It's been a while. What's up, everybody? There's some big things going on, so like my presence has been very low key, pretty much primarily at the Discord. But I have been watching and playing stuff, especially recently. So I wanted to talk about. Okay, I'll keep it quick on my impressions on some of the stuff I've been going through.
Okay.
But Andor, I watched the first episode. I haven't gotten too much time because I really want to sit down and dive into it. And I felt the Bourne Legacy direction on there, but I also felt the Disney soft gloves on there as well. So I'm kind of waiting. I didn't like how they started off his ruthlessness, which was exemplified in Rogue One. But if you guys want to talk more about that, hit me up in the Discord because I got a lot to say on the Star Wars.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that's still ongoing, right? Like Andor hasn't wrapped or it's not close to wrapping at all yet.
Yeah, that's still running.
Okay.
I've been getting some anime. I've just finished up the first season of Lucifer and the Biscuit Hammer. It's something I've been kind of talking about in the anime section on the Discord. And I hate the name, but this anime has frustrated me so much because I said, "Hey guys, go check it out." The animation is among the worst I've seen in a very long time.
What?
Wow.
And the story is among the best I've felt in a very long time.
Oh no.
So I'm very conflicted, like telling people to go watch this because I'm like, yo, like their best anime scenes is like some of the worst I've seen in like the 90s.
What's so bad about it? Like is like
It looks
just quality wise or like
quality.
motion?
It feels like
it
feels like a 90s anime, and it's kind of like, remember when I say a 90s anime, I mean like Pokemon. When Pokemon first came out, you know, and like the models kind of look kind of janky. If you're looking back on it now, I don't even know.
In terms of like fidelity, maybe, but I don't think the OG Pokemon looked that bad, did it?
Look,
maybe
I'm just saying,
am I misremembering what Pokemon looked like?
You can tell a quality difference between old school Pokemon and like, let's say Jujutsu Kaisen today, right? The lines are
yeah, sure, yeah. It's like
that's what I'm saying.
Like HD
so this
fights and stuff.
Exactly. This doesn't feel HD, and it's a recent anime, and it's stressing me out.
Okay.
And it feels like everything's hand drawn and not double checked, and like these characters just look different sometimes.
Huh?
Just it's so bad.
And this isn't like an aesthetic choice. Like they're trying to go for something here.
I hope not. I hope not. I hope it's just.
Oh, let me see if I can look up
Yeah,
image
because
real quick.
if it is a choice, they're not really communicating that to the viewer very
Oh
well.
my god,
Right.
yeah. Let me tell you that much.
Lucifer and the Biscuit Hammer.
And I love the story. I think the story is so dope. I'm not gonna dive into that because that's a whole thing. But if you're looking for something that's gonna, it's fantasy and it's gonna grip your heart a little bit on some realistic human desires, definitely check it out. Are we talking original Source One Punch Man levels of jank art, Blue? Possibly. I have to double check that reference. But man, let me tell you, it's hard to watch. But I sometimes I close my eyes and listen to the story. I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, them boys are spitting.
God, that the screens I'm looking at on Google don't seem too crazy, but maybe in motion.
In motion, it's bad.
Yeah, it might be
maybe
the animation that does it.
Yeah, yeah.
right.
Okay, so then I just finished literally this morning the first season of Classroom of the Elite. I love that anime. I
I've heard
love
good
that
things about
anime.
that.
Oh
What's
my
the premise?
gosh. The premise is there's this elite school in Japan that the government pays so much money into this school. It's damn near a city on its own. And it's to foster the elite, the people who are supposed
Gonna
to
like run the
run,
country and
like Fire Emblem Three Houses kind of deal. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
Same deal, right? So it's not necessarily that they all come from like business royalty or anything like that, but they all have potential. Like they're all very gifted in one way or another. Um, so the main character is in class 1D, and 1A gets the most respect, and there's kind of a very strict hierarchy when it comes to that. And you can change your as a class, you can go up in ranks as long as
Like
you
the
get
whole
more
class
points.
can just go up.
Yeah, but the whole
Nice. I
class
like
has
that.
to work together, right?
That's a
So
cool
what?
conceit.
Yeah. So 1D is like the class of defects, and the whole thing that the main character's holding on to is that like defective items are items that just need an adjustment to work again. And so just like a small adjustment or something like that. So
Mhm.
all these kids got some kind of personality trait that they're like really working through. But the main character is a very mysterious person who's much smarter than he lets on. And I'll say like one of the things that some of the people caught on to when they started the year is that they said, hey, on your entrance exams, out of 100 on all the subjects, you got exactly 50. Are you like mocking us right now? Like, what are you doing? And he's like, I don't know what you're talking about. It's just a coincidence. And this guy's like really secretive, and
But they let him in like that, like because you're saying what they peeped that this
somebody
isn't
knows
regular.
something about his past. Somebody knows something about his past.
Okay.
And yeah, there's a reason why everybody's there. So it goes down to politics, and I'm gonna finish off with this. The whole premise of the school is you can buy, they don't have money, they have points. You can buy anything with points. And so this isn't to promote like academic excellence, it's to promote social advancement. So if your class isn't scoring well, you can spend points to get your scores up if you guys know how to collect points, or if you know how to work and get points in different ways and participate in school activities and trade with other people and do contracts and different stuff like that. So they get into some thick politics, and it's interesting. It's very cool. And that doesn't mean they don't throw hands either. Yeah. So definitely check out Classroom of the Elite.
I'll fight you for these points.
Facts. All right. The last two things I'm going to say, I don't need to talk too much about because I think the internet has already. Cyberpunk, the anime, love it. Watched it front and back twice, and I'm playing the game again, and I'm enjoying it. I think this is a good time to play it. And then lastly, Overwatch 2. Oh my gosh. Launch disaster.
Kind of
But when
disaster.
this game is working, I'm telling you, and it is for me right now, it fits like a glove. I'm loving it so much. And I know there's some problems still that's going out there, and I'm hoping they get fixed because this is a good game. So yeah, that's all I got for watching playing right now.
Okay. Lampy in the chat says that he sent you the webtoon art for One Punch Man. So take a look at that real quick so you can see how jank that used to be.
Lampy. Bro, it feels like that sometimes. Yeah, Lampy, it feels like that. I'm gonna send this to the guys, so the guys here so they can see it.
Oh, yes,
Oh
please.
my gosh, yeah, it definitely feels like that sometimes. All right,
Okay. So that does it for blue. Anybody want to jump in next?
there we go.
Oh wow, that
I
is
mean, I
very
can.
jank.
Oh God.
Oh my goodness.
They
Oh
saw the
God.
picture.
Oh,
Uh,
the horror.
yeah.
Do you want to go for Ash?
I can go. Mine's is quick, so I don't
Yeah,
mind going.
go right ahead.
Go for it.
I've been off and on watching Vinland Saga finally after all this time. Really enjoying Vinland Saga. I like it. I think what I like most about it is that it wasn't what I expected. As soon as I heard Vikings, I expected to see like as much action, like real, not the the quick like here's the super strong person against the very average person. The fight is less than 5 seconds type action, like you just mowing through people, but actual action sequences between powerful characters. I expect to see that often. I expect to see a lot of battles often. I don't. They are very into this story. I like the pacing. The actual like real story doesn't start until episode 4. Like
Oh,
you're
damn.
you're you're just getting set up with everything, which I because it's without spoilers, the whole time the person who is the main character if you like seeing trailers and stuff, like the main character is at first it's not about him per se. It's kind of introduced you to his personal life, his family, and the world that he's in. Finally, when you get to the episode 4, you get the reason as to why he's the main character and what his motives are. And then as it keeps going from there, it doesn't even feel like he's the main character right now because it's almost like he's part of someone else's story
Okay.
again. So I'm like waiting to see like the pacing's good, the story's good, and it's just really different for me to see someone else who is the main character, but they are. It's almost
Taking a
like they're
back
taking a
seat.
back. Yeah, they're taking a back seat
Yeah,
for a time right now.
being humble.
Yeah. That the writers are being humble for him, but he's not. He himself is not. Because they got a little politics in there too. Like with if you play Assassin's Creed Valhalla 2 during that like Viking age where Danes and Britons and everyone was like fighting each other and trying to claim ownership of different parts of Europe and everything like that. That's kind of happening right now in there too, which was funny. So since I play AC Valhalla, I already had like a little bit of like the part that Ubisoft
some
doesn't,
history
twist up.
perspective.
Yeah, some history. I was like, oh,
See how
okay, so
video
we're
games
around this
teach you
time.
about the world?
Absolutely.
The
So-
more you know.
Basically, he's underneath a prince right now. And right now, the prince is more so the main character. Everything's revolving around the prince. And it doesn't feel weird until after I'm done watching and I'm reflecting on what I watch. I'm like, yeah, he's taking a back seat right now. He's almost like he's not the main character. When you're watching, though, it just feels like you're watching a very cohesive story go through the motion. So I'm really
cool.
enjoying that.
What's up?
I haven't been watching too much else. I want to watch the Cyberpunk anime, though. I actually added that to my list yesterday.
I'm so upset that it took you that long, but it's okay.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah. And when it comes to what I've been playing, still playing Room Factory 5 from when I got it. Still trying to finish Digimon Story Cyber Sleuth because I had it originally on PS4, but I got close to the end of the game, but I just stopped playing at that time, and I never got to play the sequel. So since I own the complete version, which is both games on Steam, I'm like powering through the first one so I can finish the ending, and I'm almost at the end. I caught up to where I was on PS4.
Nice.
So I can finish that so I can finally play what's the second one called, like Hacker's Memory or something like that. I really like those games. I think there's a lot of stuff that, well, maybe for the upcoming Scarlet and Violet, Pokemon might be taking some elements. Maybe not directly. Maybe they didn't play Cyber Sleuth and say, we're going to do that. But there's some elements of that game series that I was hoping Pokemon would take advantage of and like kind of work into their game mechanics. So, but yeah, so I've mostly been playing those, and because I am finally like halfway decent at Call of Duty and the next one's coming out, I've been playing a little Call of Duty so I'm not horrible and my KD doesn't suck when the new one comes out. And that's it. That's all I've been playing.
Okay.
It's the perfect time for me to try to do sniping when I suck at it, and I don't care about my KD in older games anymore. So it's like, I don't care if you guys destroy me, and I got like 2 kills and 20 deaths. I'm going to get better at a sniper rifle before the next game comes out. That's it. Now I'm done.
Good plan.
That makes sense. I can go next, or
if you want, if you've got it, dude, go for it.
I tend to not have a ton of time to like play and watch a bunch of stuff anymore. But I did just recently finish Edge Runners. Fantastic. No notes. It's great. Started Warrior, which Nick was going on and on about. It was an old Cinemax show based on the writings of Bruce Lee. It's about like Chinese immigration in the 1800s. Yeah. From the get-go, it's actually super engaging. Like it has a very strong start. All the characters are super well acted. The story's really interesting, and again, like it has like this history tinge, which I know is Nick's big thing, but like you get to really kind of see a lot of the tension between, you know, like the Irish immigrants, the Chinese immigrants, like the people in power, and like how they're basically exploiting everybody, and it's a story that keeps repeating throughout history. Like it's the same sort of transgressions and tensions that exist today, but you're seeing it in 1800 San Francisco, kind of the roots of a lot of some of this stuff. And it's really good. Like I'm on episode 3 right now. There's a lot of sex in it. Which I mean, if you're into that and your dramas, then you know, by all means. It's a little distracting how much sex is in it, but
if you're into sex, if you're into sex, there's lots of it.
Yeah, I mean, if that's what you sit down to watch TV for, then you know, by all means.
I was all for it. And you said there's almost a distracting amount of sex. I was like, God dang it! No, I'm good at it.
now I gotta watch it. Damn it! Why didn't you tell me? Jeff in the chat says, yeah, the martial arts is really good. That's true. Like there's really good fight choreography. If I'm not mistaken, the same stunt team from that AMC show Into the Badlands kind of moved on from there to this. And Into the Badlands did not have a great story. It did have great characters and actings and settings. It did not have a great story, but it had dope fights.
Oh my gosh, I thought I was crazy, bro. I thought I was crazy by thinking
like I wanted it to be better than it was watching Into the Badlands. But but essentially like import the martial arts stuff and the character work stuff from that show into an actual setting, like a real world setting, and real world situations that are actually, you know, good in terms of writing so far. So yeah, it's really good so far. Gonna continue watching that. In terms of playing, I spent a bunch of time this weekend in the Street Fighter 6 beta because I'm working on a preview for Escapist. I've not been super big on 2D fighters for a very long time. Like I did the King of Fighters review not too long ago, and it was the same thing. Like I'm kind of experimenting and dipping my toe in messing with 2D fighters again because I don't know, it was like the 2000s where I was like kind of heavy into them, and even then I wasn't like anywhere near like super serious or pro level status. I just played a lot more of them then. Mm-hmm. But my worry has always been with 2D fighters is like how friendly is this going to be to someone who isn't, you know, just all up in the 2D fighting game community scene, right? Because like we got folks in Discord in our FGC channel who you get in a match with them in a 2D fighter and it's over. Like you're not hitting them with nothing. Like, are you kidding me?
It's a really cool short film about you getting yourself whooped. You know what I'm saying?
Like seriously, like it can be that bad. and there's so many people who play those games religiously like that who will just populate those online lobbies, and you just really don't like. I'm all for like experiencing like a competitive game through like a trial by fire. Like go in there and kick my ass so I can see what I'm supposed to be doing, right? But 2D fighters, sometimes that gap is just way too high. Mm-hmm. It's like I'm not learning anything from this. All I see are flashing lights and a health bar that's just depleting instantaneously.
Yeah. And they're saying you can parry that, and you're just like, what?
which one?
Do what?
I can parry just the last 20 minutes. Like that's what you're telling me.
Oh, God.
But I will say, one partially because I think there were a lot of like newbies in the lobby. And I'm hoping that their matchmaking works a lot better because it'll be Street Fighter is so ubiquitous. It's a much bigger pool of players. Like you'll get more casual people in a Street Fighter lobby than you would kind of in Birth by Night, Sleep X, 3X2, whatever. You know those other super anime fighters.
Oh my God!
Like you're not gonna get casuals in one of those.
No.
But thanks to it being Street Fighter, like I think that door is a lot more open, and I was actually having a lot of fun. I did not win very many fights at all. Like at most, I think I won 2 fights out of the whole weekend that I've been playing this game. But I continue to have fun. Like the characters still make sense to me because Street Fighter is a classic. Everyone knows how to do Fireball and Dragon Punch and Tatsumaki and whatnot. A lot of that stuff carries over to other characters. But the thing that really helps is they have a new control scheme. It's called modern versus classic, and it changes a lot of those special move inputs to single button presses. So it's a little like Smash, where like you'll press a single button and you'll do a Fireball, or you press that single button and forward and you'll do Dragon Punch, or you press that button backwards, you'll do Tatsumaki. So like it basically takes away a lot of the finger movement that you need and the timing that you need to get moves to come out when you want. But it also rearranges all the other buttons, so like you no longer have access to like light, medium, and heavy attacks for punch and kick. You now kind of have a combination of, all right, if you press these 3 buttons, you get light, medium, and heavy, but depending on what you're doing, it'll either be a punch or kick. So it sort of kind of tailors certain combos to you figuring out how to get those moves out of the new button configuration. So it sounds a little confusing, but essentially what I'm getting at is it feels a lot more like this is a brand new control scheme versus a simplified version of the old way. It's not like, okay, now if you just mash a bunch, you can get all the stuff that you used to get. It's like, no, this is a new control scheme that makes specials easier. And that's kind of it. Everything else, you still need to figure out how to get to.
Didn't they do that in Tekken 7 with they have a specific input mode where instead of, I think it's exactly what you're describing, where you can do a single button to do a whole combo instead of pressing each light, medium, heavy in the directions to kind of customize it out.
Yeah, I think a couple of games have been doing this sort of thing, the sort of simplification thing.
Yeah.
Dragon Ball Z Fighters.
Yes.
Yeah.
They have an auto combo thing as well.
Kinda
But
baked in.
the main difference between those, because I've messed around a little bit in Dragon Ball Fighters because of that, and King of Fighters 15 as well has an auto combo thing, where it's like a 1 button press and you do like a 4 to 5 hit combo. Mm-hmm. The main difference is Street Fighter isn't doing it automatically for you. So it's not like you keep hitting the button and the cool thing happens. It's just making the input easier. So it's like I still have to do the work of figuring out the combo. It's just that, the move I need for this combo is a single button press rather than a stick input versus a button or double button press or whatnot.
That's what you're saying.
So like I kind of like that a lot better, because in all these other versions, it's kind of a baby mode, honestly. Like they frame it as if by using the auto version, you're kind of locked out of some of the higher tech stuff from the classic version. And I don't get, like, I'm not 100% sure yet, but I don't get the feeling that that's what Street Fighter's combat system is doing. Like, I feel like you can still do everything you can do in the other scheme. It's just different now.
Okay.
Interesting. It'll be interesting to see how the kind of sweaty players actually.
Yeah, like to see if it's something that they like. I can't imagine a lot of like the long time pros would want to switch, because all that is muscle memory. But like people who like have been gone for a long time, like it may be an avenue for them to get in there and get really, really good. Like exactly like you're saying. Like I'm really curious to see if someone using a modern control scheme can like start breaking into like tournaments, into like top 16s, top 8s, or whatnot.
Yeah.
Makes it more accessible in all aspects, which is great.
Right, exactly.
I do have a question though. Sig.
Yeah.
And excuse me if you kind of answered this earlier, but were you able to fight against custom characters?
No, the only thing we had access to was the Battle Hub.
Okay.
And that's just online matchmaking. But I mean, you get to make your character and you walk around the lobby and stuff. But then you sit down on like in-game arcade machines to fight against another person or whatnot, and then you're fighting with Street Fighter characters.
Okay, I thought the character that you make was going to be like a character that you fight with.
But that's the thing. Like, in the final game, I think that is going to be the case for the World Tour mode.
So I was going to be very interested on how some of those creepy looking characters fought.
Are gonna
like,
look in a fight, right?
you're gonna have some crazy range that's either gonna be invisible hitboxes or really short ones or really long ones in different cases.
Yeah, that will be interesting to see if that factors in.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how they're gonna handle that.
Yeah, because guys in the chat, if you haven't seen, there's been images floating around the internet from the beta of people just creating straight up nightmares in Street Fighter 6.
They're looking like ET and ET adjacent.
It's like the customization. What is it? Soul Calibur, where you can make literally anything.
Yes. Oh my
Yeah.
god, I love this Soul Calibur customization. That was my favorite part.
So like, Street Fighter lets you just do straight up body morphing. Like you can have just the biggest cankles on Earth. And and just no waste whatsoever. Like
you get more powerful kicks because you got those chunky ankles.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, is it gonna be stats based on your build? Like, is it gonna be something like that?
I don't know. Yeah, those are interesting questions.
I'm so down.
Chat says some of the characters you ran across were creepy AF, Casey, and Casey did run into a goblin.
I love it.
It's wild. It's wild. But I didn't get to try out any of the extra stuff outside of the online hubs. But like that's sort of the stuff that I'm the most interested in, like that kind of open world RPG thing. Because you do make a character, you're supposed to run around. It looks like you meet other Street Fighter characters and they give you like missions or things to do. And like you run across like kind of randos on the street, and then those are the situations where I think your character is like fighting them and like
missions and things to do. Are all of those things go beat some dude up? Because
I don't know.
You're street fighting. You know what I'm saying? Like they're actually bringing you to the streets and saying, "Look, this is how it started."
Yeah,
this is how it started.
Like, remember those two dudes in front of the building in Street Fighter 2? You're one of them now.
Yeah, and the other one's a goblin.
They're giving you your own original Street Fighter story. I'm here for it.
Yeah, no,
I'm really intrigued by what they're trying to do there. But then like the third mode, which we also weren't able to get into, is called Battlegrounds, and that is more mini game heavy. So like it's like, do you guys remember how what was it, Soul Calibur 2 had like all the weird match types where like you had to go through like a gauntlet of just specialty events, like there's low gravity here, there's like the enemy will, I don't know, constantly throw I don't know, like weird stuff, like spikes come out of the ground. Yeah, so like you're using the fighting game mechanics in these sort of weird mini games, and you're like completing challenges that way. That we weren't able to test either, but that also looks like a fun way to sort of get you familiar with specific characters' movesets and abilities and whatnot, because you'll probably need to use them to kind of complete those challenges in unique ways. So like that's the kind of stuff I really, really want from these new 2D fighters, because they help the more casual player get up to speed. Like you can spend time doing that stuff to kind of increase your skill level and your familiarity with mechanics versus just getting your ass kicked online, which I did do a lot
of. By goblins.
Yes. Yeah. But that's pretty much it for me. Jimmy, what do you got?
Watching wise, I've been trying to keep up on the Rings of Power. Lots of people, I'm not going to spoil anything. But without spoilers, we have one episode left, and I'm really worried that they haven't really concluded.
How long is the season?
Huh?
How many episodes is the season?
8.
8, okay.
And they've set up a lot of mysteries, and they have revealed none of them.
Oh my god.
And everyone's just going, what does this thing mean? And they have one episode left to, I hope, at least reveal one of them. Because if they leave it all on a cliffhanger after 8 episodes in season 1 of the most expensive show ever made, I'll be quite upset. I'll be like, at least reveal one of these things. But yeah, not too much because spoilers. And then anyone who's been following what I've been doing on The Escapist, my gaming life has kind of been overtaken by Guild Wars 2. I recently got back into it. It's one of my favorite games. And then, as a joke, Nick, I said to Nick that I wanted to make an episode of my show just on the fishing minigame in that game. And he was like, do it, pussy. So now my next episode on The Escapist is on Guild Wars 2 fishing. And then Marty jumped on the train. The last stream I did with Marty was on Guild Wars. Then the devs came in and gave out free codes, and now the devs are going to be on.
Wow! Oh wow!
Nice.
So Yeah, if I go back in time and think when I was playing Guild Wars 2, like in my
I love
bedroom,
Guild
like
Wars
10
2.
years ago, if I went back and told him that I'd be like working with the devs on an episode for my show, I think I would cry. So
Aw,
yeah, I'm unbelievably hype about all that. So yeah, just been
that's
playing.
dope.
Yo, real quick, big shout out Guild Wars 2. Some of me and my Navy buddies bonded over that game heavy. It is such a beautiful, just aesthetically, it's just like a painting come to
Yeah,
MMORPG. And great story, great voice acting, great mechanics. Like
Great
your
fishing,
weapons,
apparently.
great
great,
fishing. You know what I mean?
great
Yeah,
fishing.
no. Guild Wars 2 holds a special place in my heart.
Yeah,
Bravo.
me too.
Good stuff.
Yeah, me too, for sure. But yeah, that's me.
That's what's up. All right, J-May, short and sweet. We'll go ahead and move on into our topics proper. First up, Need for Speed Unbound. Me personally, I've been waiting for EA to kind of take their thumb out of their ass and fix the Need for Speed franchise for a while now. And I have to say, without any real gameplay, this is just a trailer. This looks like the kind of Need for Speed that I've been waiting on, in all honesty. Like, it has heavy underground vibes.
Yeah.
Like they're going back to like focusing on like the car customization and just like the the feel and the style and whatnot. But the other thing is like they're really tapping into like hip hop culture for this one. Like ASAP Rocky apparently is a producer on this game. Like he's heavily involved in the creative stuff.
Cool.
They're using his music. Like he's made. I don't know if he made the track specifically for Need for Speed, but they're like the song in the trailer and I guess the theme of the game is an ASAP Rocky song. And it's like he's in it. Like he's rendered in the game. Like his voice acting actually sounds okay from like what they showed in like trailers. Like he's talking to your player character, for example, and challenging you to a race and whatnot. And like it sounds authentic coming out of his mouth. Like he doesn't sound like he's reading the script or whatever. But there's also this aspect of like animation. Like it's almost like graffiti-esque art, Into the Spider-Verse-esque art that is overlaid on top of all of the cars, and like there's like weird visual effects. Everyone is like cell shaded, so like they sort of look like anime characters or whatnot. So it's really giving it a very unique style and feeling that Need for Speed has not had in a very long time. And I'm super excited to jump back in now. Like what were you guys' impressions of all these sort of changes that they're going for?
I feel like I was silently agreeing with everything you were saying. Like I was trying not to scream because like those are a lot of the points I was trying to make. But like just I think the thing that stood out to me the most was the colors. The colors and the art style that they chose. Oh my gosh. It brings me back to a Jet Set Radio Future. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I know this game flopped, but it brings me a little bit of Bleeding Edge. And I loved the art of Bleeding Edge. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, the characters in Bleeding Edge are still
fire.
Like Damon is still like one of the top. I was just writing about this dude today, like yesterday. I was writing about Damon because the character, the design for Kimberly in Street Fighter, seems very much like just a girl version of like Graffiti Samurai. She's a graffiti ninja. Like
I felt
very
the
similar
same
styles.
thing when I was like, I know her brother. I know her brother.
Right.
And just like you said, like I feel like the last Need for Speed that I personally enjoyed, and I haven't played all of them, but I've dipped and dabbed, over the years. I think it was Need for Speed Underground 2, the one that opened up with oh my gosh,
like Lil Jon's,
yes, Lil Jon, yes. That game right there was the last time I fully enjoyed a Need for Speed game, and I think just like you said, the hip hop influence really spoke to me in that. And it's not to say
like
that
it fits. Yeah, it doesn't feel like it's not like pandering-esque.
Yeah,
like let's this is what the kids are into, right? The rap music. That's not the vibe.
That's how it felt afterwards. You know what I mean? But this one, just like you said, it felt like ASAP. Like his lines felt like him talking, and you're like, oh, okay, all right, we actually gonna race, and it's gonna be flamboyant. You know what I mean? It's gonna be you're gonna win in spectacular fashion, or you're gonna lose in spectacular fashion. But either way, you're gonna see some crazy customization. You're gonna see some out of this world visuals while keeping it feels like, and even I don't know if you peeped, but the car models are very detailed and realistic in certain lights. So it's like they want you to know you're driving some heavy wear, but you're doing this in the craziest way possible. And I love that feeling. You know, I'm not a guy who likes too much realism, but then when it gets too fake, I'm just like, well, are we playing Mario Kart? You know, so it's I think it's a happy medium. This porridge was just right for Bluty Locks. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's Blue Deluxe.
I think I'm in the same boat. Like from seeing that trailer, I'm completely behind this game. It looks fucking incredible. I mean, I was never a Need for Speed nerd. I was more of a Burnout boy. Like I loved Burnout.
Burnout boy.
And
I like that.
I basically, I always found Need for Speed. It eventually started taking itself too seriously.
A little bit, yeah.
And it started getting like very crimey and very like, oh, it's all about the crime and the cops. And I was just like, eh. Whereas Burnout, you know, was like, I want to cause some wreckage and like have fun. Like Burnout Paradise is one of my favorite racing games of all time. I really like it. And I too have been waiting for EA to do something with either of these franchises. And
yeah, because they own them. They own them both. God damn it.
Yeah. And they brought out like a remaster of Paradise, but that's about it for Burnout. And I saw this trailer and was like, this is what me as a kid wanted. Like I want that kind of energy, and I want this kind of like you're saying, very flamboyant and over the top, and I want that. And it made me feel like a kid again, and I was like, fuck yeah, I want this right now.
That's right.
So I'm here for it. I think I'm gonna get that day one.
I forgot to even mention, like you mentioned Burnout and the fact that EA owns both those franchises. Like this is Criterion, right? The original Burnout team that's back on this working on it now. Yeah.
That might be why it's a little bit more crazy.
Because Need for Speed has been under Ghost Games for like the last couple, I think.
Okay.
And like,
because
I don't know.
Seriousness of Need for Speed, you know, like the last few, I've seen people playing it, and they all look the same. They all look like the exact same. And then the Burnout boy in me was like, oh god, I want wreckage. I want crazy flamboyantness and characters, and this looks like Need for Speed IP, but done in a old school Need for Speed way and a little bit of a Burnout way, and I like that. And knowing it's the same thing completely makes sense. So that excites me.
Yeah. Ash, anything you wanted to bring up in terms of Need for Speed Unbound? Did you have any thoughts?
Yes, I did. So my Need for Speed history goes back to just Need for Speed Carbon. That was my first Need for Speed
Carbon
game.
was a good one. I feel like that one was slept on.
It was slept on.
That was post.
I wouldn't know because I didn't play the other ones, but but I remember as a kid just loving Carbon. My cousin got me into it, and I didn't play Need for Speed for a while until they came out with the Ghost games one. So I played that Need for Speed. It was just called Need for Speed, kind of like
the first one was not bad. Like when they tried to just kind of rebrand.
I played that one. I thought that one was not bad. I didn't play again until I did get Heat. I was really interested in Heat when they first dropped it, just because it really felt like they were like, yeah, no, it's gonna be crazy when it comes to the cops chasing you. Like they weren't playing the sound, and they're not wrong. Like they feel like GTA 5 cops in Need for Speed Heat when they're chasing you, because eventually you get, I think they called them rhinos. If you get to like 5-star, this giant massive truck that in my mind I'm like, how's it going as fast as my almost 300-mile-per-hour vehicle? But it is, and it's zooming.
He's doing this thing, ain't it?
I don't know how people play this not on PC, because if even on PC I would still have a pop in every now and then, because if I'm going 300 one way and there's a rhino coming 300 the other way, that thing pops in. I don't see it coming sometimes, and it will wreck you. It hits you one time. If you're not ready for it, if your car's not specifically defense ready, you're screwed.
I like the idea of a teleporting rhino truck that disappears out of nowhere. Yeah,
it's very scary. So I actually enjoyed Heat more than I enjoyed that rebranding Need for Speed one. I did feel like it was missing some stuff. Like it was mostly fun with friends. Carbon I played by myself. I don't remember Carbon had multiplayer. I don't know, but
it must have. But like, I don't know about like online.
It was probably just local couch co-op.
Maybe, but Carbon was the one that took a lot of inspiration from Tokyo Drift, if I'm not mistaken, right? Like there were tons of drifting events in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To my remembrance, again, that was a long time ago for me.
He said, "I'm old, so I don't know."
I'm old.
What I really saw.
But I did actually enjoy Heat. Those moments where you're with your friends and you're just trying to get, because the only way to get like exotic parts was to get your heat level high enough to then unlock races that you could do. So imagine having to get to like 5-star, for example, where you're getting rhinos chase after you just to get into a race where they will still chase after you that entire race, to then have to get placed high enough to get one of these exotic parts.
That's awesome.
And then you had to take the car. If you got busted before you got back to a hideout, you lose that part. It was insane.
Right, yeah, it was kind of working on that sort of risk reward type thing, right? Like the longer you stay out and the more you avoid the cops, that you get more stuff for it.
Yeah, you get more money, but if you get busted
and lose the heat, but then like you lose the rewards, right?
Yep. So I did kind of like that concept. It was difficult, but it wasn't like, like a Dark Souls game difficult. So it was like enough of a challenge. Hey, I got some parts. I ain't beat a single Dark Souls game yet. So it was
okay, I can do that. I'll shut up.
At least for me, it wasn't. But yeah, so but for this, when I first saw it, I will say at first I was for a moment I was a little jaded at the character models, not because I thought they looked bad, but because the world and the cars had a little more realism than the character models, so they almost seemed out of place.
I personally kind of like that juxtaposition.
Yeah, it's not because
you're right. Yeah, they are mismatched.
That's why it took me a second for my brain to be like, "No, you still like this. It's good."
Yeah.
I saw too. Yeah.
You're just like,
I was like, "Oh, what's going on? This is Need for Speed?" And then it's like, "Oh no, this is definitely Need for Speed." A friend of mine who's an artist, Matu, I think you've at least played with Makute a couple times. No, you played with Makute before, right? When we were like playing games and stuff.
You by my D&D game name, y'all. Said Matu.
I did say Matu. Jesus Christ.
That's my D&D character name. We play a game together.
Blue, you've played with Matuke before, right?
Yes,
with me
I
and Darren.
have.
So he's the one who did my art for Tamsin and did Darren's art with the stuff. So he's an artist and he loves Need for Speed. That's one of his favorite video game franchises. So I immediately messaged him when I saw this because I'm like, specific art style, Need for Speed. Let me see. He was excited beyond belief. But the main thing I took from this trailer, and from talking to him, I was like, if I don't see those graffiti effects while I'm driving my car like they did in this trailer, I will be disappointed.
I have to believe that that's what they're going for, right? That better not just be in the trailer.
If it's just in the trailer, looking to add some flair, I hope it's actually in the game.
Right, it's like crazy because like don't get me wrong, that was gameplay we saw, but it is still like snippets of gameplay. So I need to see like someone like a nice little 10-minute gameplay, just gameplay, and I want to see that happen in it. I'm sure the game will still be good. I feel like I'm gonna enjoy no matter what, but I will be pretty disappointed.
No, same
without that.
Like the way it's framed in the trailer, like it does look like it is in game. Like I'll say that much. Like that's the vibe I got.
Yeah, that's the same.
But if it's not, they better put it in there. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is the first look. This is the impression that they get. Yeah, a lot of people are assuming that's in there.
Right.
Think about
that's some crazy publicity stunt. Thinking, come on, stop.
I do think it's in there, but just part of me, from just I'm sure you guys get the same years of seeing trailers, like reveal trailers. And there's just some things that aren't there. They were just meant to be like a stylistic thing in the trailer. But because this game's actual models are a part of that style, that's why I'm like, no, that has to be in it, right? Like they're going very deep into this theme right now. They can't just show that and not put it in there. If the character models look more realistic, then I'd be like, okay, that might just be Hey, look at our awesome trailer. Go to Call of Duty in the 90s. Pew, 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 glasses, explosions. Just a little like meme trailers that people used to make for their Call of Duty videos that used to be on YouTube all the time. Right. It could just be like a little stylistic thing, whatever. But no, I'm like, if this isn't there, I'm writing a strongly worded letter to EA. I'm gonna blame them, not the developers.
Put it in their strongly worded letter pile.
Yeah, they're gonna read that.
They're not gonna read it, but I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it because I can't do anything else.
Read the hell out of that.
But that's what I got from it. I think it looks really looks good. I'm excited for it. Much more than I was for any recent ones. Even though I enjoyed those when I first saw it, I was like, oh, this might be cool. But this is the first time in a while where I'm like, oh yeah, I'm playing this Need for Speed. This is the Need for Speed that I want. So,
and I know that they're giving out, was it like 10 hours of the trial on Game Pass? So I'm definitely going to be checking it out, but I think it's next gen only, right?
Yeah, this is going to be on PC and
oh my god,
current gen, we'll say.
Oh, excuse me. Oh, I was so sorry.
It's current. It's been out for too long. It's current.
Yeah, it's like, what is this, year 2 now?
Ooh, like, excuse me, sir. Let me just crawl back down to my hole.
But because of that designation, I was trying to find the price because I have a feeling this is going to be a $70 game. Right. And I'm not a fan of that.
Trial on Game Pass. That means they're trying to squeeze some cash out of you. So I reckon it'll be
drop it on there. Yeah, I'm gonna wait.
So just be wary of that. But otherwise, yeah, I'm way into this. Can't wait to see like more extended gameplay, and I'm sure we'll get that before launch because this actually isn't coming out too long from now. Like in December, this drops.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
I love that this year. I was very happy that it wasn't like next year.
That's bold.
I got really hyped for it.
Yeah.
I think it's a smart choice. Like talk about it sooner to launch than because like I've heard nothing about a new or next Need for Speed for like since Heat and Heat.
Yeah, that was 3 years ago.
Heat was 3 years ago.
You lying to me?
Yeah, it was 3 years ago. I'm almost positive. Hold on.
that sounds fake, but I don't know. That sounds way too far.
To be honest, lads, COVID has wiped our memories of like how long.
2019.
Oh wow!
You're
oh my
not
god!
Wrong.
Wow. Okay.
That's
so
crazy.
They've been
years is a long time to us now.
And for them to hold off talking about it up until now, like I'm
assuming they've been working on it. They probably, and since it's not like since it's been two different developers, they could have had them working on this during Heat's development too. So that's why I'm not as worried because it's a different group. I do know that they moved that group who did. I think they moved Ghost to working on the engine. I think like the Frostbite engine. I think that's where they moved that team.
That engine.
But so the good thing is at least it's a different team that they could have been working on this more than even just the last 3 years. So and since they just said, hey, it comes out in a couple months, that means that game must already be gold. There's no way it's not already ready for release.
That game must be finished by now.
You say they're not going to bust a Cyberpunk?
I don't know if those little drawing graphics aren't in it, they might be like, hey, we got to delay to make sure this game is. We got to make sure this is as good as it can be.
Everybody on Twitter, they're checking like, what are they saying on Twitter? They all looked at graffiti art for the cars. That's not in there. It's just for the trailer. What do we do? Delay the game. No one's going to see their families for the next 2 months. You're staying here.
Oh no!
All the artists in here now.
Not the crunch.
Oh, man. But okay, speaking of artists, we'll transition to our next topic.
Ooh, good job.
Randy Orton, WWE wrestler, full of tattoos on this man.
Yeah.
If Randy Orton showed up in a WWE 2K game and he was just completely bare in terms of tattoos, you'd be like, something's off. Right?
Something weird.
It's like,
so I mean, he was put in the game with the tattoos that are on his body, but 2K never got permission from his tattoo artist, and I can't fault them because that's not a thing I would think to do either. But this artist, seeing her work recreated in the game and not being compensated for it, filed a lawsuit and won, basically saying like you need to get permission to put her artwork in the game, even if that artwork, the tattoo work, is on another person's body who consented to being put in the game. Like this has never happened before. There are tons of games before this that have had real world characters put in, especially sports games, and have their tattoos represented and whatnot. And like this is gonna create a daisy chain of either game publishers making sure to get that consent, that permission, or just lawsuits because artists haven't been paid. So I'm just curious what you guys think about the idea of art, in this case, tattoo art, kind of retaining the rights to artwork on another person's body.
So
Go ahead.
I think that's a very interesting line. It's gonna sound weird, but I feel like it comes down to what the agreement is between the tattoo artist and the person who's getting the tattoo, right? And I think there needs to be some kind of clause before getting the tattoo that say, "Hey, look, I own
Yeah,
this
like
art
at that
in
level,
my
maybe that's where this needs to get done.
body," right?
Yeah.
Or like, "Hey, you know, I'm gonna get this, but you're allowed to have say in, or you get residual into my career boosting because of this tattoo." You know what I mean? Then that you can work out some kind of deal, and I think that's really what it has to come down to. Either you know up front that you're gonna get some royalties, or you know up front that you just released all the rights. But I think, you know, closed mouths don't get fed. And if this hasn't been talked about before, I say get your money when you can.
Well, in the chat, they're saying that there have been court cases on this before, and other courts have sided against the tattoo artists.
Which I can see. So my side of it is, when you commission someone to do a piece of art for, say, a banner or a profile picture, that art then becomes yours to do with it what you will. For me, when I get a tattoo, once that is on my body, that is mine. I have commissioned you to make that piece of art for me. It is now mine. Also, like, he's a celebrity. It's gonna be on posters and like on TV and in games, and like we were saying, it's down to, say, like, the contract signed when they get the tattoo. Like, you know, oh, if this goes wrong, it's, you know, it's not on us, and blah 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 blah. Also, this art is now, once it's on your body, is yours, because it seems a bit weird. It's like you commission someone to make a profile picture, you then put it as your profile picture, and they go, "Oh, you don't have permission to use that there. You only have."
I don't like Facebook/Instagram. Don't put my art on there.
I'm gonna sue you, and it feels like it's IP. Well, at what point does the art stop being the artist's and start being the person who commissioned it?
Yeah, and I think that's, to this day, that's always been hazy. Like, that's why contracts exist, to decide on what happens to that sort of commissioned art. But the thing that's weird here is, like, I don't know how long Randy Orton has had these tattoos. Like, did he get them done after he became a WWE star? Was it before that? And in that case, like, do you, like, if, say, you are a celebrity and you want to go get a bunch of tattoos, do celebrities get different deals than other people? Like, a tattoo artist will be like, "Oh, I'll do like $400 or $500 worth of work on you for free, but the IP stays mine, so that they can get residuals when they go off to do other stuff." Because I feel like that could be a thing, a kind of nightmarish thing, in my personal opinion.
It's like, how do you
now this is ad space.
Yeah, right.
yeah.
Studio or any industry, then go find the artist of the, because you'd have to go to the person and be like, "Right, so who did your tattoo?" What if they go, "Oh, I can't remember." Well,
it was 30 years ago. I don't know.
Yeah, I can't remember. Oh, they've gone bust or whatever. It's like, it gets so messy, and it's very, very messy. I don't know if this. I think it might, like you said, start a daisy chain of people trying to get money.
Yeah, because apparently it's not a new thing. Folks have tried to do this before.
But also, like people were saying in chat, courts have sided with against the tattoo artists before, because
I'm really curious why in this case the court said sure.
Well, I think it was Lampy said it was the New York District Court, so maybe they are just weird about it and they're like, "Oh, fuck it."
Like, they're just pro artist in general.
It's just New York, you know, they're just weird.
New York, right? Unique things happen in New York all the fucking time. So maybe
Just
that's
that
it.
about the
I don't know. I can see
ride.
both sides of it. I really can. But I think I sway more onto the side of the game company and also wait, it was Randy Orton, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Randy Orton.
I stand with them because if I've commissioned something and it is complete and I've paid for that work, that thing is now mine. If I paid an artist to paint me a portrait of myself, once you are completed and I've paid you, that painting is mine. I paid you to do that. So if I then hang that painting in, the square in my town, that's not up to you whether I do that. It's up to me because it's mine.
Right. And that's understood for physical
Everything else apart from tattoos.
Yeah, and like so I'm just curious, like why what's the possible reason could there be to classify tattoos as something other than a commissioned work of art? Like any ideas?
I don't have an idea for that. I'll be honest. I was gonna say, due to me being an expert in law after years of Ace Attorney games, I know, I know for actual factual that when it comes to copyright ownership, if it's something that's work for hire or work is made for hire, whatever the proper terminology is that the person who commissioned the work is the copyright owner of that artwork or whatever that work is at that point.
Unless stated in the contract.
Unless it's previously stated contrary.
But what if nothing is stated? Because like
Then
most tattoo
it's
parlors,
Randy's.
like they have you sign like, oh, it's okay for me to put a needle on you, but not necessarily where the rights go. So if there's no contract,
if there's
like, is
nothing
that why it's
stated,
hazy?
no, because it's work for hire. So that means it makes the person
So by default,
by
it's
default,
still considered
as long as
commission.
a work for hire thing,
also-
copyright wise.
It's probably never seen before, and it's never in those contracts of like, I can put a needle on you type of thing, because these tattoo places would lose business. Because if you start reading, the tattoo place owns the rights to the art on me, and that if I ever appear on TV or in a game or on a poster, that I owe them money or the company owes them money. People go, that's messy as fuck. I'm not doing this. I'll go somewhere else.
Right.
And like that's just so messy, and it doesn't exist anywhere else in other pieces of media. It always works the other way around. You do work for hire, and then the person you made it for owns it. Like you said,
unless you get a contract that says it's going to stay with me.
So
right?
it's
and Lampy's saying the same thing. Says if nothing is stated, the automatic work for hire rules in the U.S. would kick in.
My Ace Attorney law license coming to work.
So why did they win?
Yeah, that's my question.
He did
so what happened in this situation that had the courts?
Lampy did mention, and even though it's weird because I still won't have an answer for that, Casey, but he did say it was a low court in tiering, so it will end up getting overruled. I don't know why, but I don't know. It's often like that in lower courts things will get through that really should. I'm like, so what's the point of these lower courts?
Yeah, like what are you doing down here?
Do you guys not know the law?
That's why you're
you
low court now. Like that's why you at the bottom.
That's why you at the bottom.
Keep acting like that. But like Jeff mentioned earlier, the ruling only paid her like
it was like
will pay her like $3,000. That's something 2K has in their couch. Like they might just do that to throw it away. But if 2K has great lawyers for sure, they might not want to do that because again that'll basically solidify a precedent that they probably wouldn't want to deal with in the future, right? They're like, oh well, you paid her then, so
they're so ironclad in it already, man. For the next game, they're not worried about the next time. This girl just got into the cracks. That's what I believe.
I mean, because honestly, it might be too much trouble. They might go the route of putting all the athletes and stuff in the games and just having them not have tattoos. Like it's less work for them. Like why bother? Less work, less money. Like, go ahead and make it a problem. Like, who's really gonna care? Will you guys care if LeBron James doesn't have his? I
wouldn't notice. I mean, I'd notice, but I'm playing as my character to dunk on LeBron. I don't care what tattoos he got or not. I'm trying to make him look stupid.
I want to dunk
what if you dunk on fake LeBron? You gotta dunk on genuine LeBron to make this game.
Yeah, it's not the same. Like that's not LeBron. He don't got no
genuine
tattoos.
Video game LeBron does not make a difference to how I feel when I dunk on either LeBron. If I can dunk on real life LeBron, it don't matter. I'm just gonna dunk on fake one.
You dunking on Jabron.
Jabron.
Kingsdead, funnily enough, says apparently Take-Two had this problem with LeBron's tats in 2016, but they won the LeBron case.
Look,
So yeah, this really just seems like an outlier. The fact that this particular case was won,
and that's why it's getting news coverage because
it's gonna get overturned. I'm definitely with Lampy. There's no way this is staying.
But why was it won in the first place? Like for it to just be overturned, I feel like there's something here because the story doesn't necessarily say the details.
Sided with the artist, and then the judge got lazy, and they were like, "Oh fuck it."
Honestly, it's low tier court. I believe that. I believe that. Oh my god.
One thing I thought could have a factor is if the tattoo artist was never credited for doing the tattoo.
Yeah.
And like by who? Who?
Possibly by the celebrity as well.
And so like
maybe
they didn't pay damages, right? So maybe that is it. But they're not saying it like that. They were saying, "Hey, I haven't been credited. You didn't have permission to show this without credit, so you owe me damages." That would make sense.
I mean, and you know, there's again, I know like when I write some contracts, I say, you know, hey, I reserve the right to use a sample of this video for my reel or a sample of this video with permission from the client, right? Mm-hmm. After they've released it, I say, hey, can I use this now? Boom, cool, good. But that's baked into my contract from jump. Right, I don't know if that was something that was that was stated with the tattoo.
Yeah, like maybe that's the case. Is that Randy Orton did sign a contract? Like this particular artist was like, "Oh, I know what could happen if one of these people I tattooed get famous," and like they have them sign a thing where it's like, "Hey, you didn't credit me, and here it says right here, Randy Orton signed that it's my work still." So like something like that.
They trying to come up, possibly.
So yeah, if it's under a contract,
that's what it sounds like. But this is just me shooting in the dark. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But yeah, if there's some stipulation under a contract, then definitely. Otherwise, if he just walked into a tattoo parlor, got a tattoo, paid, and left, then that's fully under work for hire. So he doesn't owe the artist anything. So I don't.
There had to be something.
I don't know how to find some of the artists who did my tattoo work. I'm like, are they even still doing tattoo work?
I will say one other thing that I didn't fully understand, because ultimately, if there was a contract, right, and between Randy and the artist, I don't see why Take-Two would have to pay anything, because that's a contract between Randy and the artist. That should be Randy's responsibility, making sure that the rights to something that is on his body is being used elsewhere. So, I mean, even if they did get sued, it would then be Take-Two getting the money back from Randy ultimately. You know what I mean? Like, it would just have to go back to Randy at the end of it because it's his deal, not theirs, if there was a contract.
Yeah, I hear you.
Excuse me.
Saying that had nothing to do with the company. That's all.
They'll be like, we had to deal with Randy. He ain't mentioned nothing about not having rights to his own tattoos. That ain't us.
Yeah, is there such a thing as like a WWE Players Association, like a group that represents the talent?
Yeah, they got a union. They got it, right?
Yeah, I think it's
I don't know. I mean, it's Vince McMahon. He's probably anti-union.
That is definitely anti-union.
and like Jeff said, depending on how long all these people have had, there's athletes of all kinds, especially, will usually have tattoos. And if they've had tattoos for years, they should be able to sue back for as many years as their tattoo has been in these game series. Honestly, I don't know why they can't just sue WWE for Randy having his tattoos while wrestling. You know what I mean? Like if they can get away with this, they'd be able to get away with everything. Every movie he's in,
right.
Like you said, like you guys were saying earlier, like there's no reason why. So that's why this can't be a thing unless there was a contract signed, because that's insane. I feel like if Randy signed a contract like that, like he knowingly did, which would have to be legal, he would have to know that he signed a contract like that for it to be legal. He'd be like trying to end that contract immediately. Like there's no way his lawyers will let him keep that kind of contract.
So some interesting stuff in the chat right now. First, Lampy says, but the reason this case was able to rule differently is because it was New York District Court and the other cases were in different districts. One district doesn't have to follow precedent set by another, only higher courts or circuits.
Yeah.
Like I understand what you're saying, but like my question was, like, I know that they're different courts and they can rule differently, My question is, if
Why did
this
they rule
court looked at all the information and ruled one way, why did this court look at information and rule another way? Like that's
King
my
Dead
question.
just put something
But yeah,
interesting
but
in
King's
there.
Dead is sort of answering that question. It says like it looks like the tattoo artist had prior copyrights filed for the tats Randy got, which might explain this outlier. So
he
it was
picks-
art that was already copyrighted that Randy then put on his body.
Right.
Is what that
That's
sounds like.
Now-
crazy.
Now my question for
I
that
knew it
though
wasn't that simple, y'all.
is that copyright as in someone else, another artist cannot recreate their art on someone else, not necessarily for the person you're selling the art to.
Probably,
So
yeah,
that
probably
makes-
not.
I don't feel
if-
like that.
Like
Uh,
if like what King's Dead is saying, like if you pick this tats off like a menu, like in the tattoo shop or whatever, like that's that artist's work. Like you can't go somewhere else and take their book there and be like, oh, do this that guy did.
But me still getting on my body should still be. It's almost like there's branded Nike shoes that's copywritten, but I go and buy that. Those are my shoes now. I can wear them wherever I want, and
But
I don't have
not-
to pay Nike anything.
But if you tattoo the Nike symbol on you, that's
They
that's
can't sue me
still
for that.
Nike's logo.
But they
I mean,
can't sue me for that.
They wouldn't sue you for that. That's free advertising. But if you're somehow making money off of that, like I don't know. This is
But
a
is Randy
dumb, weird
making money
situation.
off his tattoos, or is he
No, but
making
like
money
if your
because
brand
of the
ends
wrestler?
up being the Nike symbol, then they're
Yeah,
gonna
no,
be like,
that's
hold on
different.
now.
But Randy's
well-
brand is his tattoos, is it? I don't know anything about
Well,
wrestling.
Well, that's the
Well,
thing though.
no, it's a way to identify him. Like, oh, Randy
Yeah,
Orton
which is
has
part
these
of it.
tattoos, right?
Part of his brand.
Is
It's
that-
really part of his brand.
Is that by his own choice or by people? You know what I mean? Like, is he presenting his tattoos as part of
Does
his
it
brand, or
matter?
do people say? I mean, I think so.
Because
I mean, he's a celebrity whose
look-
shirt is off 70% of the time, so it's kind of
Look,
like
if
you're
he
just
didn't
gonna
wanna-
associate.
But like, if I got the Nike
If he-
tattoo
no,
on my
check it out,
body,
check it out. Look,
and I got
you
famous.
got some tattoos on you, right? But
yeah,
you don't want to use them to get famous. You go cover them up.
I didn't want to use them. I just wanted to have the tattoo. I thought it was cool.
But you're using it in your performance. It's part of your persona.
And I went out to fight people and throw chairs at somebody.
No, you didn't. You
I
went
just-
out to
I just thought the
entertain.
tattoo was
No,
cool
you went
when
out
I
to
got it.
entertain, and you know that. You went
No,
out
like-
to entertain, and you know that. There's
Like
a look.
real talk. Like, I don't know how much they do it nowadays, but back in the day, like if you showed up on TV and you had like a big logo on it, they would blur it because whoever's rebroadcasting that doesn't have the rights to show that logo or doesn't have an ad deal. Like they don't want to give them free advertising, whatever. So it does become a conflict if it's a copyrighted thing or logo, whatever. Even if it's on your body, if it's on clothes you're wearing that you bought and paid for, like the logo itself is still problematic in that way because it's copyrighted and owned by another entity.
Okay, I can feel that. I don't know though. It just seems stupid, and I don't agree. At the end
No,
of the day,
I do think it's kind of stupid. Like it's a
Definitely.
tattoo, it's on my body. Like leave it at that.
Yeah.
But you know,
I do know for all the previous announcements, they had it previously copyright written, and then they, if Randy just picked it off of me, he's like, oh, I really like that one, let me get that. Then yes, I still, at the end of the day, still wonder if that translates to you came in, you paid someone for a work to be done, they accepted that
We
cash
don't even
payment,
know
and they
that
gave it to you.
This tattoo artist did the work. We know
Also-
that it was their art.
That's also fair. You don't even know if he did
yeah,
it.
you're right.
That's what I'm
If it's
saying.
like part of his shop and a different artist under his shop did
It
it on
doesn't even have to
someone,
be
for
the same
example.
shop. He could have went to their shop like, "Ooh, I like that." Click, go
Yeah,
to
like
another
seen it on the internet or something,
Yeah,
right?
or
And
seen it on
then
the internet.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
And then put on
Yeah,
his
no.
body, and now that's part of his brand. Make him look big and bad. And they're like, "Hey, yo, that's my art. Someone give me some credit. Like I had this shit copyrighted."
no, yeah, that's a good point.
But then would that be Randy's fault or the other artist's fault? That's why I don't like how this works.
I mean, it's everyone but the original artist's fault in that.
But then he should be suing everybody. That's why I don't like how this is
I mean, 2K
playing
is
out.
part of everybody.
Yeah, I know.
Like, man, how do you know they didn't? They didn't
Yeah.
start at the first, but and then it went up the chain. I don't know.
Because
I mean, it's very messy. It's a very messy.
it is. It's
situation.
very
There's
messy.
a lot of factors not accounted for in this story.
But
But yeah,
speaking of artistic integrity, etc., we'll move on to our final topic: the Super Mario Bros. Movie.
these segues are on
They had a
today.
big Nintendo Direct that had a bunch of people talking at you, telling you how excited they were for this movie, and then at the end, they finally showed you the first look at the trailer. What are you guys' thoughts? I'll let you all jump right in.
Looked beautiful.
Okay.
Yes.
Agreed.
Yes.
Visuals on point.
Yes. On
Absolutely
point.
on point. It's stunning. Like really,
Yeah.
really pretty.
Gorgeous.
Comedy that the little bit of comedy they showed so
Comedy.
far looks good.
in
It
there.
wasn't cringy. Was perfectly
Mhm.
cued. Loved it. Keep going, Blue. I'm sorry. I just had to throw that.
No. I'm trying to get all the good stuff out. You know what I mean? The sound effects when Bowser breathed fire, that actually like got me a little
Hit you in
bit.
the chest.
That felt heavy. I was like, okay,
Yeah.
all right. Do we want to talk about it now?
Jack Black's voice acting. Jack Black's voice
Black
acting.
is really good as
Jack
well.
Black's this thing.
He's not just using his Jack Black voice. He actually
Yeah.
sounds like he's performing a
I heard
character.
a little bit of it at one point. I did hear a
Yeah,
little
at,
bit
at
of it.
the end when he's yelling
Yeah.
over the Power Stars, that
Who's
just
gonna
sounded like Jack
stop
Black.
me? I was like, that's Jack. I heard him.
And also,
Yeah.
weird criticism.
Come on.
Why would he ask that question?
for the star. Is it?
Yeah, like he got it for the star.
Superstar?
He said,
Yeah,
"Ha ha
is it-
ha." Now who's gonna stop me? Just for them to cut to the person who's supposed to stop him. Like, why did you
I'm
write
sure in
that?
the movie, I don't think
Because
it's gonna
you
be
know
the
that was
exact
so-
cut, though.
Casey.
Yeah, I think
it's
in the exact cut we're gonna. I actually believe that's how the movie's gonna open, but then it goes to actually. I'll wait for my turn because I got.
But go ahead.
Yeah,
I just thought that was a
this
really
kid-
weird transition. But
This
okay.
kids, not like when we was young, they was doing that same kind of cheesiness, and then we put it together, right? Them cats. Not everybody knows Super Mario who's gonna watch this movie. They're like,
Mhm.
oh, Mario gonna stop him. I think they needed to do that for people who didn't know. I'm gonna give them that. What I
Yeah.
did want to say about the Jack Black voice acting is that
Mhm.
yes, he was voice acting. And before I was talking to my friend about it. I'm like, yeah, but Jack Black's done stuff before. He was in Kung Fu Panda. He's like, yeah, but he was Jack Black in Kung Fu
He
Panda.
was
And
Jack
I'm
Black.
like,
He was also in a
Okay.
Brutal Legend where he also
was
played
Jack
kind of Jack Black.
Yes, exactly. So I do feel how there was effort put forth. Personally, I did want Bowser to have a little bit more bass in his voice, but maybe we'll hear that throughout the rest of the performance. But I did feel the raspiness that he tried to bring through in the guttural feelings that he did there.
Yeah.
So I feel his effort and I applaud him for that. And it's very close to a Bowser that I would adore. You know what I'm saying?
What about Toad? Keegan, Mike, and Key is Toad.
Real talk, I was surprised. Like I expected to honestly I expected to hear all the because why would you hire these celebrities unless you wanted their voices coming out of these characters, right? So that's what it was in my brain. I thought it'd be funny to hear Keegan Michael Key's voice come out of a Toad, but he was doing a Toad voice.
Yeah.
Was
It seems
He
like
was.
everyone is doing an impression apart from one person.
so
I will go last on that one person. By the way, you guys go.
I think we're beating around the mushroom in the room.
Yeah.
No, don't say that.
beating
can't
around the
say
mushroom. Wow. Blue. This show is available for all ages.
Chill. Look, man. Okay. Can I say the first thing, or do you want to?
No, go right ahead. Jump in.
I'm going last.
This. I said this in the Discord, right? And this is what I truly believe.
Oh my god.
Chris Pratt sounded like an Italian man.
Okay.
He didn't sound like Super Mario. He didn't sound like Super Mario. He sounded like a man who has a faint accent. You know, like his family was Italian, a couple generations. He's like a second generation or something like that. He lived in New York and around them cats. And
So you saying Chris Pratt sounds like when he talks to his grandmother, his accent comes out, is what you're saying?
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. yes, that's exactly
Okay.
what I'm. It was, it's like sparkling water that's hinted with something, and you don't expect that. You know, like when you think it's a soda and it's really just a sparkling water, and you're just like, oh my god, that's really fresh. Holy crap! I do taste the lemon, but it's not Sprite.
It's a LaCroix.
It's yeah, there it is. LaCroix.
Wow,
I thought it was a Sprite and it was a LaCroix.
that's kind of rude. I go,
Very
I think
light.
lacrosse is disgusting, but
No, it is disgusting.
No, that's where we're at. We're on the same.
Like we're sinking right now.
Yeah, and that's where I'm at. I'm gonna keep it late, like his accent
oh,
or his effort.
Lampy talking trash. He said Chris Pratt is to Mario's accent as Casey is to British accents.
Ooh, Lord.
No, Casey's
That's
British
not
accent
fair.
is perfect.
Thank you.
That's coming from a Brit.
Thank
He
you.
sounds more British than I do. Um, I kind of agree. I think when Mario first spoke, I was like, oh no, he actually did it. He actually did nothing. But then his next few
Yeah,
lines, when he's jumping about, there's like this hint, like you said, and I was like, do you know what? Okay, because no matter what, everyone's gonna hate it. And to be honest, I'm glad he's not doing a full. I can't remember his name. The guy who has voiced Mario since
Charles Martinet.
Charles Martinet, yeah.
Charles Martinet. I'm glad he's not doing a really shit Charles Martinet impression because that would suck. I can see what they're doing. I just wish his. I don't think he's a bad voice actor. When this first came out, everyone was saying, oh, he's not a voice actor. Well, like him in the Lego Movie, like he's really good in the Lego Movie. There's so much.
And again, it's kind of his voice. It's just his voice is good as like a cartoon character voice. I feel like.
For sure. But there's a distinction between voice acting and doing a voice. There are two different levels. Like it takes a certain amount of acting to be able to convey emotion through your voice, not necessarily do an impression of an Italian man. There's like two levels to it. So I think he's a good voice actor in the respect that he can convey emotion effectively through his voice alone. But maybe he's not good at doing impressions, and we're seeing that now. So if he continues to have this little subtle hint of Italian and like this little inflection, I can get behind it. I can see that interpretation. I'm not entirely mad at it. So that's my stance. I'm on board.
Okay.
I think this is where I'm gonna be on board is if his voice changes over the course of this movie and he becomes Super Mario.
Oh my god! I'm okay. Fuck what I said. I'm on board. The longer he's in the mushroom, his voice becomes corrupted.
It's like Luigi finds was like, "Yo, why are your voice sounds starting squeaky?" And he's like, "No, ever since I got here, it's like the pollen or something." It's to get the
god!
And,
all these spores, all these mushrooms.
I'm so ready for this. I need this.
That's my only excuse for this. But I don't know. I hear what you're saying that they're doing a fresh look at it because it could lean too far in one way and just be a mockery, right?
Yeah.
But I still don't feel like it's enough. And I do acknowledge that I did overlook like the effort that it takes to convey emotion. It's not just reading lines. I do accept that. It's not just reading lines. But if you're making this movie about this iconic character, and because you're not just making it for the kids, we know this, right? It's for the kids as well. You're not just making it for the kids. You're making it for the legacy fans who grew up on this from day one. Give them some respect. That's how I feel.
Well, Lampy's also said something in chat, which I think is really important, is that the Mario voice is kind of unsustainable for a full movie. Have you ever heard Charles Martinet say a sentence, like a lengthy sentence as Mario? It's painful.
Yeah, it's not great.
It's not easy to listen to. It's like,
that's why they get paid millions.
Did you imagine that Mario's voice, like as how we imagine it, Mario's voice having an in-depth conversation or performing a monologue? It would be like this.
But that's the thing, right?
Again,
because there's two. This is the thing I feel like a lot of people are not talking about. There are two Mario voices in all of our heads.
No, you're stealing it from me. Go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry, Ash. Go ahead.
No. I want to make sure you're talking about the same thing I was. Go ahead. Just go ahead.
Because there's the one Charles Martinet does, which was basically just barks and ad libs, right? Not actual lines. Right. And then there's every other time they've tried to have Mario speak sentences. And that Mario has a Brooklyn accent. Not an Italian accent.
He's from Brooklyn.
In the Super Mario Brothers Super Show, in the original Super Mario Bros. Movie, like with John Leguizamo and Bob
Hoskins.
Hoskins. So we know that Mario is from Brooklyn, and yes, he's Italian, but like he's not an Italian man. He's like an Italian American man. So we know that Mario actually speaks with a Brooklyn accent, but the game Mario has always sounded like just a straight up Italian man. But like, Not really, not like an actual Italian man, but like a cartoonish Italian man,
Right, I hear you.
like a Chef Boyardee type Italian man.
That's what I want, bro. Because Chef Boyardee was throwing hands. You know what I mean?
What? What canon is this from?
I'm just saying, like the whole game is just this really high pitched, high strung, high athletic plumber just beating his way through the Mushroom Kingdom to save his girl. We're not gonna talk about how she keeps getting kidnapped. That's
She's going on purpose, but you're right. We ain't gonna talk about
it.
No, go ahead, Ash.
So I was gonna go into that, and I was gonna say we're about to go into spoiler territory because this is the movie. I'm about to spoil the movie right now. Check it out. So we saw him come through a portal, and that's because different voice. He is coming from Brooklyn. He is not native to Mushroom Kingdom, so that's why he doesn't have that.
That's been the story in like the cartoon and the other movie.
Yeah, in the cartoon, like you said, in the other movie, it's only in the game. It's like he's
from the Mushroom Kingdom.
Well, in like the games, he is.
He's from the Mushroom Kingdom in the other games.
From what I can tell,
well, like I don't know. Early on, I don't think that's the case either.
Yoshi's story made it that happen.
What was the first thing that showed him going from the human world to the Mushroom Kingdom?
I think it was the Super Mario Bros. Super Show.
Show, right?
Yeah, the show, but not the games.
But the game also they weren't in the Mushroom Kingdom in the
beginning
in Super Mario in Mario Bros. Before it was Super anything.
They weren't there yet.
When it was just a little puzzle game where you went from one side of the screen and came out the other.
They have a voice really yet there either.
They were just
by the time he had a voice in the games, he had that voice, which is funny because Blue said, "What if his voice changes over time?" But if we start from initial Mario, he had Brooklyn. By the time he has a voice, like an actual voice in games, we get Charles Martinet with that other voice. So him changing voices would actually be almost like game lore true. So I thought that was kind of funny.
Says that the manual in the original game also says that he was a plumber.
Like you said, he wasn't in the Mushroom Kingdom yet. So that's why I thought it was funny that Blue said, "What if his voice changed over time?" Like it did canonically in games change over time for the life of Mario.
Story sense,
and so I was actually thinking that's what's going to happen here. That's why they thought, okay, we can have Chris not have to do the Charles Martinet voice through the whole movie, but you can have like a Italian descent Brooklyn accent or whatever you want to call it.
I feel like that was established forever ago. Like they were never gonna have a Charles Martinet-esque voice for a whole movie. That was never gonna happen. Because any other time they decided they wanted to give Mario lines, it was a Brooklyn accent.
Yeah, because you can't have Charles Martinet voice. It's fucked.
And I agree with that because if you play a lot of the Mario RPGs where Charles Martinet is still doing the voice for like the 2D ones or the well, not the Paper Mario, he doesn't really say anything else, but the other ones that came out like Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga or the time travel one where it's them and Baby Mario and Baby Luigi. When Mario and Luigi have lines, they just go this, they don't say any actual words. They just
and those are the dudes that I wanted to see.
Right. It's so true.
But they don't say like actual lines. So I get why they would, and like you said, it's much easier for them to go original Brooklyn Italian accent and just have him try to do that instead of trying to emulate the Charles Martinet. And I get why people would prefer one or the other. Don't get me wrong. I completely understand it. Like Blue, when you shared the one with the French, was like, I get why. Not even just a small few, more likely a huge few people might actually still prefer this over that. And I get it.
The French one sounded really good.
It sounded like they were doing a Martinet impression, and that's a good Martinet impression, but is that going to work for a whole movie?
I hope so. It didn't sound too strenuous. Sorry.
Yeah, it is something. No, you're good. I was going to say that also went back to, for me, and I think this is why I have like a personal bias already, because when I go for like the Mako, an amazing voice actor, God rest his soul, pass, but Mako doing the voice of Aku or Iroh from Last Airbender, great voice. He passed before season 5 of Samurai Jack came out, so they found another actor who tried to emulate his voice, and his voice was good, but it wasn't Mako. And I would hate to think that the entire, because that's what I thought through all of season 5 of Samurai Jack. I was like, this Aku sounds good, but it's not my Aku. It's not the Aku that I heard growing up and when I was like 6 years old for 4 seasons of Samurai Jack.
I don't know. So I feel like before that 5th season, like how much Samurai Jack were you watching? Because like Are you sure that's not just nostalgia and like rose tinted glasses that you're dealing
Casey,
with? And
Casey. When they
like,
announced,
there's a big gap of time
Let me tell you,
between when
when they
Samurai Jack
announced
stopped and then
that-
the 5th season
yeah,
came out.
when they announced season 5, I rewatched 1 through 4 beforehand.
Okay.
Like I rewatched it probably, I'd say maybe half a year before season 5 came out. I went and watched all of them. So when I got in, I was like, this isn't bad, but it's not good enough. And not saying that someone couldn't, like the guy for the French one couldn't do a decent enough job. And I still would have enjoyed it, even if, like, because I still enjoyed season 5 of Samurai Jack with that voice actor. It didn't hit as hard, but I still enjoyed it. They definitely couldn't get Chris Pratt, I feel like, to do that type of emulation of Charles Martinet for a whole. I don't think it would have sounded good no matter how hard he tried to get that
And
voice.
that's why
just
I'm
me.
saying, like, Leo, you pay me and I'll make it work, bro. That's what I'm trying to say. It's not like he's doing this for charity. You know what I'm saying? Put in some work, bro.
I
Like,
just,
come on, man.
I just feel like
it's gonna be hard on his throat. He doesn't have no lemon.
I just feel like you
honey.
guys
Like,
don't
come on, man.
know what you're asking for. Like,
I am.
Like in
I
this
think
case, like I think
you
you think this is something you want. Like you feel like, oh, he needs to sound like Mario if I'm gonna watch a Mario movie, and then you don't. Like,
didn't say I'm
you're
not
gonna
gonna
come
watch
to
it.
regret that decision when he has to have a conversation with anybody else.
Now hold on. I
think it
didn't say I'm
sounds
not gonna
good.
watch
I
it.
enjoyed the voice.
I'm just gonna say I'm disappointed because it's not. The French guy gave me what I wanted.
But
The American
again,
guy-
that was like a fraction of a second. Like,
Yes, and that was a fraction of a second of disappointment over here, and a fraction of a second of enjoyment over here. Like
Louis said-
it's,
I didn't
it's
say
the
I
same
already
amount of
watched the whole
content. What
movie.
you talking about?
He said
but
based off
one
of what
made
he
me
saw-
happier than the other. It's the truth.
It's a fair assessment. He said based off the little bit he heard. he
Yeah,
preferred-
it's
well,
the
now
same
maybe-
amount of content.
Maybe long run he listens to the whole French version one day and he's like, never mind. Who knows? But
It's
I
possible.
understand.
But right
This is-
now, that's
right
what I
now,
want. That
that's what
looks
he wants.
juicy.
That's why I played
All
Breath of the Wild in Japanese, because the voice actress for Zelda went hard in that crying scene. The English one did not. So I understand what you're
the
saying.
English voice actor for Zelda. And
I understand what you're saying.
Good.
So, but yeah, so that for me, that's what I think they're going off of. It's like the old movie and the TV show. He's from Brooklyn. Whether Brooklyn's going to be actual New York City or a Brooklyn version of New Donk City, but New Donk City is technically in the Mushroom Kingdom.
New Donk City's in the Mushroom Kingdom. So.
Is in the Mushroom, but whatever. I mean, they don't have to go exactly by. I don't know what they're gonna do, but I definitely think they're doing a whole isekai thing for Mario into the Mario Kingdom.
I mean,
for
did
this
it
story.
start-
Yeah,
was Mario the first isekai?
Well,
Oh,
I-
chill.
honestly-
Crazy.
Honestly, yes. I don't know. There probably is an older Into Another
Oh,
World
yeah.
before Mario, but first video game one I can think of would be Mario.
Asteroids. It's the first.
But yeah, because
Easter-
in the Yoshi story with Baby Mario, he's already in the Mushroom Kingdom, so that's why it's almost like they fake retconned it. But
It's
they didn't.
almost as if they don't give a shit about the story of
don't.
Mario.
Yeah,
it's,
yeah.
it's almost like they kind of just
We
make video
care more
games
than they
and
do.
don't give a shit about writing.
But yeah, I was okay with the voice. I would like to. It's still same thing. No matter what, I need to see how that voice plays out through the whole movie, regardless of which one I listen to. But I wasn't as disappointed because as I was going, I was like, "Huh." Doesn't sound. I was the same with Bluetooth. Don't get me wrong. I was like, "There's not enough of the this and the that in the voice." But then I was like, okay, you know what? I think they're just going with the Brooklyn Mario, the OG, jumping across to get Paulina from Donkey Kong.
But that's what I feel like that's the right one. Like
Which Donkey Kong is Donkey Kong and Cranky Kong, who is the actual Donkey Kong that Mario saved Paulina from. That was actually Cranky Kong, not Donkey
And
Kong.
also that Mario is supposed to be Mario's dad.
Yeah, so
the
we'll
hell?
see.
Like
Yeah,
Jumpman.
All right.
there's a little
Like
bit of
Jumpman.
Jumpman.
That's not
my
Mario.
God.
That's not Mario. Mario Jumpman Mario is Mario, but not Jumpman. That's not Mario. That's
All
his
right.
dad.
I'm gonna step in here.
Thank you, please.
New
because
Badonk
we need
City. Wait a
some-
minute. New Badonkadonk City. That's the city I'm trying to go to. Found you, Miss New Booty. Hello.
Chill,
Hello.
chill.
College Park Buddy Sparks.
If I hear another bit of Mario lore,
Yes.
I cannot take that shit seriously.
Y'all said it's his dad, and this
It's
is a
his
legacy
dad.
isekai, and it's really Princess Peach is really just an alien because
I mean-
Paulina.
You
Rosalina
guys
is
heard that theory
potentially
that
there.
yeah,
Yeah.
Rosalina is Luigi and Princess Peach's daughter?
I heard it was Mark. Oh, actually, no, I did hear
Wait,
both.
who and
I heard
what?
both.
Rosalina, the space princess, is
that what she's
supposedly.
In the narration in the book, she's actually talking about them. That's the theory. Like she's talking about her parents who happened.
I didn't get to hear what Fitted
Oh, sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
No, the theory, and it is just a theory. I think Matt Pat on
theory.
Matt Pat from Game Theory came up with the theory, based on stuff in the game Super Mario Galaxy, that Rosalina is the daughter of Princess Peach and Luigi.
So Luigi on the sly.
Yes.
Yo, Luigi slimy. Oh my gosh. There's a snake in the pipe.
It's a really fun video. Check it out if you haven't.
I
All right.
don't
Look
want
at
to
your
watch
mate's
a
face.
video about Super Mario adultery.
I'm sorry, I was on your side, and then they said that it just got juicy.
To be honest, I'm not going to pretend I was listening. But I'm definitely going to watch that video after this.
So Bowser's just a good friend hooking up Luigi and Peach on the sly.
That's what's happening. He's kidnapping them, but Luigi already at the right castle the whole time.
Oh
That's
my!
a
Luigi
wingman.
and Bowser are actually old friends. And Bowser's just doing them a solid every time.
Yeah.
Oh no! Luigi's blackmailing Bowser, like, yo, you gotta let me use your castle to hook up with Princess Peach, or else I'll tell everybody what you did. He's like, please,
All them coins you embezzled.
he said, please, I got kids. You're gonna ruin my whole kingdom. You know, and then I want to see this movie. Come on, let's go.
Junior still don't
Go
know
ahead,
who
write
his
that
mommy
Mario
is.
fan fic.
Bowser Jr. still don't know who his mama is, so he said it was
Bowser,
Peach.
yeah, exactly, and that's why Bowser Jr. is out to find the truth. Like, yo, why is this Princess Peach here all the time, and this Luigi dude, and then this Mario dude keep coming through and breaking through the castle, but they look alike, and like, yo,
And Luigi be
let's-
dipping whenever Mario show up. What's up with that?
exactly. And then sometimes he'll come up with Mario talking about like, oh, Bowser, blah blah, and beat my daddy up with him. Like, I'm confused. Who
Dude,
is
when
this Luigi
When
cat?
this film does well and
Yes.
HBO want to make a TV show, I hope it's about this.
A gritty drama HBO TV show.
Mario
Let's
Yes.
do it.
series.
Let's do it.
It's
Let's
coming.
do it.
Don't worry.
I'm in there,
You
dog.
heard it here first.
Yep. But give me the French guy.
So I mean, outside of like the voice stuff,
Yeah.
because we haven't heard most of the cast. So
Mhm.
I don't know. There could be some other outliers in terms of voices.
There could be some people that really actually just stirred a pot. Like,
But I just want to say, like, I've been notoriously like down on the concept of this movie, mainly because of Illumination. Like the fact that the movie looks fantastic was never in question, because like they've proven themselves in that regard time and time again. Like,
but it looks
Sing
better
2
than
has
Illumination.
some
to me.
amazing like sequences in terms of just color and animation. Like, so they're really good at that. I had no doubt that it would look okay.
Yeah.
But the writing was where I was worried. I don't know who the writer is for this movie, but it turns out that Aaron Horvath and Michael Jelinek, the two writers behind Teen Titans Go, are the directors for this movie.
Cool.
And I did not know that. I don't know if this was the first time they announced who was directing, but I guess I never looked it up before. But that gives me way more confidence in this being like a fun, funny, interesting story. Because Teen Titans Go is one of the best written cartoons of like the last 10 years. How long ago did Teen Titans Go come out? It's been a while now. Like, I love that show. Like, it's brilliant.
It's
like,
very well written.
whatever you want to say about like not liking the original, whatever. Teen Titans Go is brilliant. It's super smart of a cartoon show. And the fact that they're behind this has exponentially risen my my take on whether it's going to be good or not.
It's because all them Pokemon games y'all keep buying, they got lots of money to spend. You know what I'm saying? That's you, Ash. Thank you.
I skipped so many. It's not even me. I am getting that
Because Matthew Fogel is the writer. Anyone that name
Fogel.
does not ring a bell to me.
Looking them up.
Fogel. It's super bad.
Matthew Fogel. He did the Lego movie, so that's why it's gonna hit. That's probably why Chris Pratt's here in the first place, because he did the Lego movie.
Ooh. Reach on it.
He did Minions: The Rise of Gru. I didn't watch that.
Yeah, that does not bode well. That's not a good
Hold
look.
on now.
Matthew Fogel wrote on Big Mama.
Big Mama. Wait.
My Mama's the third
Like
one.
Father Like Son.
The third one, not even the first two.
Yeah, the third one. So
I
that
saw
does not
on
bode
Tubi
well.
The other day, I saw that one on Tubi, y'all. If it's on Tubi, there's a high chance it's not good.
He did
gems on
the second Lego movie. That's the only thing from here
That
that
was good,
I've seen
Second
that
Lego. Okay.
That was good. That was
Yeah.
good.
So Matthew Fogel that does not give me that's shaky ground right there. Like,
but the
for sure.
directors,
Roll the dice.
okay,
I mean, they're just directing though. Like, they're not writing, but I'm wondering how much control they have over what's going on.
I'm waiting for the Big Mama fucking cameo in Mario.
oh, don't do that to me.
Wait. What you talking about?
I don't want it. It would be fucking hilarious.
You mean
Big
Martin
Mama
Lawrence?
and
Just-
yeah, Martin
I just
Lawrence
hope-
is the poison.
this movie does look like it's going to be taken quite. They're putting a lot into it. I would have preferred if they went the complete other route and it was just a massive piss take, and it was like just full of just absolute bollocks. I would prefer that because then they can't really go wrong.
That's true. It was just
But that's
goofy,
like
right?
that's the kind of
It's Big
self-aware
Mama.
meta.
Yes, they kick the doors in and it's Big Mama and the chair.
Oh my god!
Um,
my God.
we was friends a second ago.
Oh.
I'm
But
just
yeah,
playing.
like you say, Casey, I think when they showed the penguins from that ice level for 64, that usually people just throw off the side of a cliff for some reason because everybody hates it. I guess I don't know. I never hated them like that. But as soon as I was like, oh my god, those are the penguins from that level, like that gives me hope that one, they're really like going into the world of Mushroom Kingdom. Like we should feel immersed in this kingdom by what they've already. I feel like that's what they're going for. Like they're really trying to give the fans stuff. I saw Game Explained did an Easter egg of like the poster and like the little bit of Mushroom King you see in the trailer. And there's like a lot of nods to a bunch of different games there. Like
I saw that too.
So it really does feel like
dense.
it really feels like they're really trying to give. Yeah. So I'm hopeful for that.
I mean,
when they
that's
say
how they make movies nowadays anyway, is rather than tell an actual story, it just reminds you of a bunch of things you love.
Remember?
Chill. It's so good.
I mean, I'm not saying it won't work. Like, it'll definitely work. But I don't know. It's just times are changing.
And I know it's not out yet. I just had one quick question for it. Do you guys think this is, if it does well, obviously that's first, but do you guys think this will spark a MCU of Nintendo films? Do you think we're going to get that? That leads it to a Super Smash Brothers film eventually. Do you guys think that's going to happen?
Dude, that's the Infinity War. Oh!
I'm not looking forward to that.
An Illuminations Legend of Zelda film could work.
No, not by Illumination though.
He said, "Don't you
give it to DreamWorks. They did How to Train Your Dragons. They know how to do that."
Yeah, true. I don't know. I reckon if this does well, I think it will spark something. And
I agree.
Animation is where it's going to go. Like they can make it pretty. They can hire the right people to write it. Like you said, with all of the references and everything they're doing so far, it does look like people who care are behind it. And maybe this might spark them to be like, do you know what? Let's trust these people and just keep hiring people who clearly have a passion for these things and just get them made. I'd be hopeful rather than just seeing the Avengers be remade over and over and over. Let's try and actually spark a new generation of good video game movies. There's potential. We just need the right people to do it.
We got Detective Pikachu and Sonic.
Let me tell you something. Yeah, you're right. Sonic, Detective Pikachu, they've been great. I feel like there's a era, and I know we're all feeling it, but the video game to visual media, and we're talking about film, TV, that age is actually working now. We're seeing it with Cyberpunk.
Yeah.
We're seeing it with The Witcher. We're seeing it with
Legends, Arcane. Yeah.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? We're seeing, and it's starting to work now. So that's the only hope and hype I have, is that people are getting the formula down. But I am, these compilation movies, I think Marvel has burned me out personally, and I got to give some other folks a try and a honest shot, because it gets to be a lot, and the FOMO is heavy. I don't want to watch every little thing. Like, I don't want to watch a whole movie on the Koopa, and how Koopa came up.
Like the gritty
Horizon Koopa.
The street level story about the Koopas.
Yeah, like how they got in service to Bowser. I don't want to watch that movie.
What would be the Andor of the Mushroom Kingdom?
The Andor of the Mushroom Kingdom? That's a good question. I don't know much about the lore. You gotta ask Ash.
The resident lorehead.
I don't know.
Lampy says, "Give Legend of Zelda the studio trigger."
Yes, yes, yes.
My
The Studio
dream.
Trigger. Wait,
Yes!
the Studio
Oh
Trigger.
my
The Studio
God.
Trigger.
Trigger is Cyberpunk Edge Runners, Kill la
Yup,
Kill,
yup.
Topen Gurren Lagann, Topen
Yup.
Tenga Gurren Lagann, Little Witch Academia,
BNA.
BNA,
Mm-hmm.
the Star Wars Visions episode about
Yes.
the twins.
Woo, that was amazing.
Um,
They did this one series where they connected all their previous universes. I don't know if y'all saw it. It's like
I don't-
4
Matter of fact, you
episodes.
mentioned that before. Yeah,
It
I
was
haven't seen that
really
yet.
crazy. Yeah, me and my cousin were deep diving into some studios, and they had a compilate like all of their original anime led into. There's like a canon story about how the logo came about too through this canon story.
Oh, wow.
It's dope. Yeah,
Oh,
you guys gotta check it out sometime. Studio Trigger's amazing.
Yeah, I need to find that.
Yeah.
I was gonna say the people
but-
who did Sword of
yeah,
the
go ahead.
Stranger. Sorry, that was the last. I was gonna say people who did Sword of the Stranger. I don't know if anyone's seen that film.
No,
It's an
that
older
is
one.
that is one of my favorite anime movies ever.
I actually
Sword of
was
the Stranger.
hoping. It's funny, before they re-announced Rurouni Kenshin's coming back, I was hoping that they would be the people who, if Rurouni Kenshin was ever redone, I was hoping they would have got it. But
Yeah, who did Sword of the Stranger?
what are they called? What are they called? Sugar. Sorry, I say sugar,
Sugar?
around my kids instead of saying other words.
Oh. Like,
Um,
I've never heard of this. animation
I'm
about
like,
sugar.
Bones. Bones. They're just called Bones.
Bones,
I
right?
like
Okay,
Bones.
yeah.
We did. Okay, anyway, we're gonna start going into this whole.
Yeah, we're going down a rabbit hole here.
Oh,
So,
they
all right,
also did-
any other thoughts on the Super Mario Bros. Official teaser trailer?
Ooh, I want
see that voice
adult
change.
only showing at the theaters. I don't want any kids there. I don't feel like dealing with them.
Ooh, I like
dead serious.
that.
I don't know how
that also
you're
sounds
going to
creepy.
manage that. Yeah, because they're not
not gonna do
they're not
it,
making
but
their
that's
money
what I
back.
want.
The theaters are in trouble. They need
Yeah.
this.
No, not all the time, but like once a
But, like,
week for one showing, adults only. That's what I mean. Just one showing.
That's
I
gonna
don't
a
want to be
local
there
decision.
around a bunch of kids. I don't. I just
a week
don't.
That's gonna be a
after
local
it's out,
decision.
Just go at 11 p.m. and then there'll be no kids. They'll all be asleep.
Yeah.
You think so, right?
You would think.
Yeah, no, they're not supposed to be there, but they find a way. It's sad.
Them kids be sneaking in at 11 p.m.
No, they with the parents.
Wild.
Parents are bringing infants at like 11
Right?
p.m.
You'd be like, what is happening?
Yeah.
That's why
How
I
are
don't
you
want to.
finding
I want nobody's baby while I'm watching this movie. I'm trying to enjoy this. This is my child. This baby don't know nothing about Mario. He don't know nothing.
You couldn't tell me who Mario's dad is. Get out of it.
Get out of here. Get out of here.
He's gatekeeping on an infant.
Oh man. Like you can't even hold a controller. What are you doing here?
Your parents still unplug the controller when you play games with them because you suck. Get out of here. I'm sorry. I'm done. That's all I got to say. I do want that though,
man.
but it looks great. I'm excited. That's all.
Yeah, my anticipation has gone up.
Yeah.
I think regardless, it'll be a fun time, whether it's actually a good movie or not.
Yeah.
I just want to stream it. I'm not gonna lie. Let me stream it at home.
Oh man, yeah, they don't put that in theaters. You're gonna have to wait for that.
Yeah.
I'll pay for it to stream.
I would too, because I don't want these kids.
But
would
I don't know
too,
how
so
much
they
I
can
pay.
watch
Hold on, let me slow down. I'll pay
$30. That's what Disney be charging.
I don't
That's
know
what
about
Disney
all
be
They stopped.
charging.
It was an experiment. They stopped. They're like, yeah, we're not gonna do this anymore.
about all-
When was the last one they did that to?
I think it was like Mulan.
No, Ray and the
Yeah,
Last
so-
Dragon.
Ray the Last Dragon.
Yeah, Ray of the Last Dragon. It was the last.
And it probably made fuck all on streaming because nobody wanted
Yeah.
to play.
We're like, we good. I think I pay $20 max to watch that.
Like on
or,
launch
like,
to like
on
day
launch,
one
yeah.
date. Okay.
I could do
Yeah.
30.
oof.
I mean,
Yeah,
for me and
see,
my
You're,
wife,
you're part of the
You
problem,
got kids.
Ash.
No,
I
you got
said-
kids. That's not the problem. That's the demographic. That's who they're shooting to.
So you say you don't want to go to the theater and have kids there.
I would wait for my kids
But
to
you
go
also-
to sleep and then watch it at home. That's what I'm
Okay,
saying.
because you're saying you don't want to
Ooh.
take your kids to the
Go
theater
to
to
sleep.
watch it.
Daddy's got to watch Mario.
I can watch it after I get to watch
like
it one
Super
time
Mario?
in
No, you
peace. If I watch it one time in peace, then following after that, they can watch as many times as they
You
want.
watch it times a day.
Okay,
Yeah.
I feel that.
That's all I want. I just want to watch it
And
one
that's the
time.
convenience
pull
of
through.
streaming. That's why I think
Peace.
the
Yeah,
theaters
yeah.
is a scam and it's gotta go, man.
Feel that.
I don't know. I can't for something like this because I know like how much I like the Mario series or whatever, and how much my son has come to like the Mario series. That
Yeah.
feels like more of like an event. Like, hey, let's go
Let's
to
go
the
watch
movie theater
Mario.
and watch the Mario movie. Like,
Well, your son is
like,
older.
I kind
though.
of like that idea.
But
Yeah,
I
yeah,
understand.
he's
If my
older,
kid was
yeah.
older, and it was because my son beat Odyssey by himself. I don't know how still because I didn't teach him how to play it, but he ran through Odyssey by himself, right? So, but he also stims a lot, and that would be happening the whole movie. So I at least want one time to watch the movie without that, and then the second time, me and you watch it together, bro. But I can't hear sometimes because he won't stay focused the whole time through.
Yeah, no, yeah, that is true. Be jumping all over the damn living room too.
Literally.
Oh, I'm Mario. Like, stop punching the ceiling fan, damn it.
He's learning about patience.
But I guess that's gonna wrap things up for today's podcast. Thanks you everybody so much for tuning in. Thanks to my 3 guests. Ash, why don't you let folks know what you have coming up that they can check out?
I'm not promising anything. I suck. I am trash. I have not streamed. I have not done anything. I barely have time to. I'm not gonna say that. This is for everyone's stream. I was gonna say something wild. Not that nasty. It was just gonna be wild.
I was talking about mushrooms earlier. So. Good.
But point is, I've had so little time, but I am really, really going to be pushing to get back to streaming. It may not be on Twitch, so Blue might not like me anymore, but I may get back to streaming. And it may just be on YouTube. I don't know.
Okay.
I might restream for a little bit, even though I'm not supposed to. I don't care if I'm saying this on Twitch, by the way. But I'm such a small
creator.
creator.
I kind of decided to F it.
I'm such a small creator. Like, they're not gonna care that I restream.
They don't care.
They don't care. And if they ban me, then I'll just fully switch to YouTube. Who cares? Like, that was the goal anyway. So who cares? But yeah, so I'm really gonna be trying to stream this week. What am I streaming? I don't know. I haven't thought about it yet. Just please show up. Please show up. I need people to be there because it's been so long. I just need some support.
Then go live.
I'm gonna go live right now. I'm going live right now after the. No, I'm not. I'm lying. I'm lying so hard.
Yeah, go live to the Smash stream.
Go live to just watch the Smash stream.
I'll
do it on my phone. So I'll stream from my phone just from Twitch watching. It's like, all right, everybody, we're watching the open party stream Smash right now. Make sure you come in here. Don't go in there.
Levy says, you haven't even said what your YouTube channel is called yet, Ash.
It's the same thing. It's still Ash Redux, actually. It's still Ash Redux. I got that name a long time ago, just when I switched my name over, just to make sure I had it before someone else grabbed it. So it's still Ash Redux.
Good call.
I have one short on there. Go watch it. Boom.
All right. Blue, what do you got coming up?
What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Blue Bones, BLUB0NES. Right now, Blue is under construction. He's got stuff to do. So you can catch me in the Discord if you want to talk about anything gaming related, anime related, whatever we talk about. Let's hang out, play some games.
Nice. Find them. Gym 8, what do you got coming up?
Good question. Next, not this Monday, but the week after, I'll have a new episode of Anatomy out on why Portal 2 co-op was a lot harder to design than you think. After that, followed with the infamous Guild Wars 2 fishing video. But I'll be on streams. I'll be about on the Escapist and on my personal channel. So yeah, check all that out.
Nice.
Very interesting that video. Actually. Sorry.
Yes, I'll be watching that.
Good. I'm glad.
As for me, you can find me at SigmaGears9 here on Twitch, as well as Twitter, where I usually just let you know where else I'm showing up live, either on the Escapist or my personal channels. 2:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the Open Party channel. We'll be going back and playing Super Smash for Super Smash Sunday. So join us there in 2.5 hours? No, 2 hours.
Yes.
2 hours flat.
No, 2 hours, yep.
So find us over there. Outside of that, check out my Overwatch 2 review that just dropped on the Escapist. Should have a preview for Street Fighter 6 coming out soonish as well, so keep an eye out for that. And all the streams that we do on the Escapist. Get Jesse to the Greek. Just started last week. Really, really fun. Us teaching Jesse about Greek mythology through the God of War games, the original trilogy. So that's really fun. Hidden Gems will be back as well. Metal Gear Solid 4 will be back. Breakout. I stream entirely too much. So show up to at least one of them is all I'm
I wish I had that problem. I wish I had that problem so bad.
You had enough
But,
streams for all of us, man. Because the rest of us like
Clearly.
I can't maintain this forever. Something's gonna give. But that's gonna do it for episode 81. Appreciate all you guys so much. Thanks everybody in the chat. We'll see you next week. Peace.
Bye.
Yeah.